Where are you? You see. Got it. 1 second. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Hi, guys. How are you guys? Welcome back. I miss you guys oh so much. The summer was long and expensive. Okay. I just was telling Michelle and my kids are going back to school tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. I can probably keep something in the house to eat because they've been eating me out of house and home. So speaking of food, let's get into it. I don't know what you guys have been doing these last couple Tuesdays of the summer without me, but since it's Tuesday, we're going to hit it off with some Taco Tuesday today. And we're going to be doing some really cool, quick and easy vegan tacos. One of my favorites, especially just to have around the house, light snack. We're going to top it off with a cool slaw and some really nice fresh pico de gallo. So let's jump into it. I'm going to wash my hands up and make everything sanitation ready. And then we'll start cooking. All right, guys. Sorry, but I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but it never works. Let me try to. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. I've done it a couple times and it claims it's working, but it never does. All right. So first things first. Like I said, we're making some vegan tacos. And, you know, I think people get turned off because they hear vegan and like, oh my God, it's not going to be good. You know, I want some meat. And, you know, it's always good to have a break in the protein just for like health purposes. And, you know, just for your body, you know, you need to make sure that your body's able to digest everything that you're eating. And so supplementing and having vegetables more often than less can be very good for you. So I'm going to take this head of cauliflower. You can get this at any supermarket. If you don't feel comfortable breaking down a full head of cauliflower, they always come in florets. So most definitely get what you're comfortable with. So we're going to break this down and then we're going to get us some black beans cooking. Okay. Because this is going to work like a base for our tacos / tostada. We're going to be serving them on the taqueria size taco shells. You can get at any local grocery store. You can get them in flour or corn. I prefer corn. It's more keto. It's healthier to digest and less carbs. And you can also get the low carb. They have that version as well. So these are some just regular old black beans, but we're gonna like flavor them up, stew them down a little bit. So actually, before we start cutting into this cauliflower, let's get into these beans because they need to cook a little bit longer than anything that we're doing today. So, use my trusty pot, and I'm going to dice about half of an onion. I have to move some stuff around, you know, because the heat spoils some of my vegetables that I keep out. So I like to move them to the cooler places in the kitchen. So got a brown onion. I'm gonna cut the sides off. Discard that. And we don't need that much, probably just about half of this amount because we're only doing this 1 can, okay? So this is like a quarter of your onion. I know you guys haven't forgot how to chop your onion. So we are going to go down vertically. Protect our fingers. And we're going to come across horizontally and go up. And we're just going to make this really easy. And all right, perfect. So we got that nice and brunoise down. Ooh, my eyes, Lord. My eyes, a little burning. All right. So we got that done. We are now going to get our pot. This is a rather large pot, but I took one of my pots to my aunt's house and she hasn't given it back. So you know how that goes. stove on medium heat between like 3 and 4. I'm gonna dress my pot with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And you know, olive oil can be pricey, but you can also find it at like the 99-cent store. I went to a really good 99-cent store yesterday. I've never gone to on Manchester and Crenshaw, like right behind that beauty supply. I had never gone to that one. I probably have in like the past, like a long time ago, but I went yesterday. I got these really cool cutting boards. They're like very similar to this one for $2. They have really good chef knives. I was doing another class and I had to get some extra material. And they have really nice chef knives. They had spatula. I mean, it was like they had really good produce. And I just was kind of surprised. I was like, okay. Anyways, I'm gonna put my onion in now. We're gonna saute the onion, you can hear that, until it is translucent. And what I mean by translucent, I mean like you want to saute it till you can start to seep through them just a little bit, but you definitely want to keep them moving around in the pot so they don't burn, okay? All right. So we're gonna saute these down. Now, when you saute any vegetable or anything like that, you always want to add a pinch of salt. Now, if you're diabetic or you have hypertension or those type of things you're trying to, you know, stray away from, you can skip this step. But if you're not, go ahead and add a pinch of salt. It not only does it help with the cooking process, it brings the onions alive, okay? Because you want to be able to taste that, okay? So, nice. Got a nice and sauté. Now, I like to add a little bit of garlic to mine. So I have these roasted garlics. Oh, they're falling out the pack. That I bought from Vons, already pre-roasted. So I'm gonna just rough chop that. I'm gonna add it straight in. Now, the reason I did not add it in the beginning with the onion is because you're gonna cook them at different temperatures, right? Your onion, you wanna make sure that gets quickly sauteed down. But your garlic, if you put it in too early, it'll scorch and burn, and it won't give off the same flavor as if it wasn't, okay? So we wanna keep the integrity of the garlic. I'm gonna add it in closer to when we add in our liquid so it does not scorch. Take this, empty this in here. Okay. I missed a little piece. All right. Now we're gonna open our beans up. Now, if you're cooking beans and you're adding it to like a dish or something like that, then of course you want to drain the juice. But with this recipe, we want to keep it because not only is it like the starch and it was fermenting in it, it kind of brings the beans together and it gives it a nice creamy texture, okay? So we're gonna dump these directly in. All right, get rid of this. And then we're gonna give it a good stir. Now, you want these beans to soften, okay? Even though they've been sitting in this can for months on end and they've been fermenting, you still know that it's a bean. So you need to cook it down. So we're gonna add 5 ounces of vegetable stock. You can use chicken stock if you're at home and you know you're not worried about this being a vegan meal, but this is chicken stock that we're gonna add to it. Like I said, about 5 ounces. Gonna bring the heat up just a little bit. So this is a good amount of liquid. You don't want your beans to be completely covered where they're floating in the liquid, but you definitely want to have enough liquid to where they're able to cook down and reduce. Okay, so now we're gonna add in some onion powder, some garlic powder. Okay, I'm gonna use a teaspoon of both. Handy dandy teaspoon. All right. I have some of this stuff labeled, because I had it in my bag and I don't like to waste stuff. So this is garlic powder. In with that. And our onion powder, granulated or powder, depends on what you have at home. I'm gonna go in with that. I'm gonna give this some black pepper, because you know you gotta cook with your pepper. Where's my pepper? Here's my pepper. Black pepper. All right. My kids really love beans, black beans, red beans. I made red beans and rice last night. Amazing. I love red beans and rice. When I was a kid, me and my grandfather, he had a restaurant in LA called New Orleans West. And he always, it was right on Vernon. Anyways, he always was making red beans. Like anytime I went to my grandparents' house, I can expect to have some roast, some red beans and rice, and my grandma had some boudin or some cornbread somewhere. So it was just like one of those things. But when I was younger, I didn't really like the beans that much. I liked the bean juice, rice, and ketchup. It was like this crazy, like crazy. But anyways, as I got older, I started liking the beans, and now my beans are just, I love them. Anyways, so anytime you're cooking a bean, it's a really good aromatic to add is a bay leaf, okay? So I'm gonna get a bay leaf. I'm gonna add one to my beans so that it can cook down with it. My husband been in my seasoning cabinet, y'all. Okay. So let's add a bay leaf. They look like this. Okay, very good. It's like to me, like a bay leaf gives like the sweet, like, I don't know, but it does something to it. Because if I can literally tell if I make my red beans without a bay leaf. Like off top, I can tell the difference. Super weird. Anyways, let's get into this cauliflower. So this is a really good inexpensive meal. You know, if you are trying to, you know, wow the crowd, meaning the children, and you want to kind of like, you know, mask the vegetables in the meal, this would be great. Even if you still do like maybe 20% ground turkey, 80% cauliflower in your mix, they may not tell the difference. Or, you know, my daughter, she really likes it. I have one that doesn't. Of course, there's always, you know, it's always an op, you know, with these kids. So I'm gonna peel this off into this thing. It's not gonna make a mess. I feel like cleaning it up all the time. Okay. So one thing about cauliflower, it stinks like broccoli. And it doesn't stink because it's nasty or it's not, you know, it's not good, it's gone bad. It's lower the heat a little bit on my beans. Bring it on down. Okay. It's because it has a lot of gas. It's a very gassy vegetable and it starts to oxidize. Okay, and so that's when you smell it, it's releasing its gas. So I'm gonna just cut that butt off, you know, and I'm gonna put it to the side. But you see, I can take these two florets out. It kind of just pops right off. Okay, and I'm not gonna cut all this down because I already have some made in the refrigerator because I make this on a weekly basis for my kids because, you know, I don't have time to be cooking y'all snacks all the time. I make a big thing of salsa. And my husband likes to come home and make his little thing. And last night he came home and he made him a Cobb salad with bacon and eggs and arugula and some kale. And so I was like, oh, okay. But didn't even make me one. You see? Trifling. Anyways, I'm going to take about a couple more florets. Put this to the side. Now, you don't have to like master this and like chop it down, but you do want to make sure it's very similar to the ground meat, okay? So I'm looking like some pebbles like this size, okay? So you can get your knife, you can rough chop it down. If you have a blender, you can probably post it one good time and you'll be done, okay? So we don't want to do it fine like the cauliflower rice, but we just want to break it down a little bit more. And then we're going to marinate this just like it's some meat, because that's the point. The point is to make sure it tastes like the real thing, baby. All right. All right. Let's check on our beans. Give them a stir. It's nothing worse than the smell of burnt beans. Ugh, ugh, ugh. But it's a good smell when the beans are good. Very good beans. Okay. All right. So now got my handy dandy bowl. My cauliflower is nice and it's doing its thing. It's stinging. Okay. I'm gonna put this directly in my bowl. We're gonna add a little bit of onion to this. Just like with your taco meat, you cook it down with a little bit of onion. You know, you can't just cook meat. You know, you gotta give it some things, some love. So I'm gonna take a little piece of this onion. Not that much. I'm going to do the same process. Dice it down. Right? Boom. Directly in. Gonna get 2 more cloves of this wonderful garlic. We're gonna cut that in. You can be more generous with the garlic. I mean, some people love garlic. I am those people. Okay. Put that right on in there. Now, this is the star of the show, people. Open this up. This is Embasa's Chipotle. Now, you don't have to necessarily get that brand. You can get Chipotles in liquid just about at any store, especially any like Latin store where they sell a lot of, Mexican spices. Food for less, most definitely. Aisle 3. My food for less. So if you want to kick it up a notch, you can definitely add the whole Chipotle. If you want to save yourself, just add the liquid. So I'm going to get a tablespoon. And I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of this Chipotle, the liquid. Keep in mind the liquid. Okay. So here's 1. It gives you a good amount. You can probably get about 6 out of a full can. 2. And 3. A little more. Why not? 3.5. All right. So we're also going to add 1 capful of olive oil. Okay. It's about a tablespoon. And then we're going to season this up. Okay. We're going to season this up with a little bit of salt. A teaspoon of salt because we got to bring it alive. We're also going to use some cumin. You can find the cumin at any store. I know you guys are probably very familiar with it. This is actually right behind our kitchen. The factory that makes this, the Tampico seasoning factory, is on Central and Slauson, right next to that Starbucks in Northgate. Just a little LA history. Anyways, we're going to put 1 teaspoon of cumin. Now, cumin is super pungent. It's in a lot of different Hispanic foods, especially your taco seasoning, your chili, like when it's full of cumin, okay? Very good, very good. Now we're going to add some onion powder and garlic powder, same amount. All right. Here's my little cheap seasonings. You know, sometimes gotta cut back. It's high right now. The world is expensive. All right. My garlic powder, my little cone. All right. And we're gonna give it a little bit of pepper. Because you need pepper in all foods, okay? Salt and pepper, not the group. All right. Wrong drawer. It's a handy dandy spoon. Now, if you want to get your hands dirty, you can get all in there. If you want to put it in a medium-sized quart Ziploc or a gallon and just shake it up, you can do the same thing. I'm going to use this spoon, get my stuff nice and marinated. Yes, yes, yes. I want to make sure. Oh, we forgot our paprika. Where's my paprika? Well, I'm going to look for this paprika because we definitely need some. Not only does the paprika add a little flavor, not so much, but it gives a nice color, you know? So we're gonna add about a teaspoon of paprika. We're gonna keep stirring, stir, stir, stir. And I'm gonna show you this wonderful color. Oh, get back in here. Okay, it's smelling good. Yes, you see that? Nice and marinated. It's looking like some turkey meat, ground turkey. Ground turkey, what you talking about? Tell them kids. Now, my beans are beaming. They're getting soft. We want to make sure they're like almost like a stew because we're going to like paste it on there like a tostada. Dynamite. Now, we have one more thing that we need to chop up. Actually, a couple more things that we need to chop up because we need to make our salsa. So I have a Roma tomato, my favorite. I don't really like the what do you call them? The steak tomatoes? I don't know. Maybe for a burger, but I still buy Romas. So we're gonna cut this down to some coins, right? Maybe like a 1/4 inch thick. If you want to do more, you have more Roma tomatoes, be my guest. But we're not making a big serving. All right. So I'm gonna stack these because we like to work smarter, not harder. And we're gonna chop these down into diced tomatoes. Right into our bowl. And repeat the process with this one. You want to make sure your knife is sharp when you're cutting tomatoes, or they'll bust open. It's just not a good experience. Okay. Now, next thing, red onion. Color, sweetness, very good. Okay. I like to pickle these all the time. Cut this off. Cut this end off. I can save that for some burgers. Okay. And I don't need that much. So I'm going to just cut off a little end. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to get this nice and diced. Okay. Horizontally. A couple more. All right. Leave it right on in there. I love an onion now, okay? Me and onions are best friends. All right, now I got some cilantro. I feel like cilantro is the boss of the herbs, right? Like, I love cilantro. I put it in my Caesar salad now because it just does something to it. It's just amazing. So I have a nice little bunch. I'm going to fold it and roll it and mark it where to be. I'm just kidding. Okay, you can tell I got kids. Huh? So we're just gonna mince this down. This nice fresh cilantro. This is fresh. Yes. How's a Taco Tuesday without cilantro? Right on in. Yes, yes, yes. All right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right. I'm gonna kick it up a notch with this jalapeno. Now, if you don't like heat, you gotta do it anyway. I'm just kidding. Let me check my beans. All right, our beans are about ready. Gonna cut them off. All of my liquid is cooked out. They are nice and the consistency is nice, all right? So back to my jalapeno. I'm gonna cut off the ends. I'm gonna split it down the middle. Now, like I said, if you don't wanna take any of this heat, you can leave it out of your pico. But I just feel like it's good, guys, and it's supposed to be there. But it's a preference. So if you want to use it and you still don't want it that spicy, you can de-seed it. Now, my name is Maxarine and I like spice, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And I'm just going to use about half of this because we don't have that much pico. Okay. Just rough chop this down. Make sure all the large pieces are cut up. Those light green pieces. Yeah. Same thing. Make sure you always get the little pieces that get stuck on the knife. Put that in. Yes. And last but not least, oh, I thought I could juggle. We got the limes. So with the limes, I like to put them in the microwave sometimes if they're larger, but this one, we're just gonna roll them, put some weight, and get them nice and loose, get their noodles going, okay? I'm gonna cut them in half, and then I like to use my knife to guide them. Do I have some juice in here? I do not. It's at the kitchen. All right, so I'm gonna just put this right in there. And these are key limes. They're kind of small, so that's why I use two. If you have one large lime, that would be suffice. Okay. Make sure we get all this in here. Help us with the juice, Mr. Lime. Put the lime in the coconut. All right. Get this in there. Yum. Who doesn't like fresh salsa? Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Now we're going to add a little bit of salt. Bring it alive. And then mix it up. Mix it on, mix it on, mix it on, mix it. Ow. Fold in all of it. Make sure it's nice and it's giving what it needs to give. Yum. Freshness. So now we're going to do our slaw. I'm going to clean my cutting board off just a little bit. Got some stuff on there. Okay. Now, kale is my friend. I love kale. I do a kale Caesar probably like 3 times a week. It's like it's a go-to in our house. But we're going to add some kale to this wonderful, wonderful taco. And we're going to add some red cabbage because it's pretty and it's good for you. Okay, so we're just going to take a little bit and chiffonade down. Nice. Yes. All right. Now I'm going to grab a nice handful. Now this is what they call Tuscan Kale, okay? It is lacinato. It's really nice. I like it better than the curly kale. It just has a better taste and it's easier to work with. It's not as rough, okay? So I'm just gonna take this and I'm going to rough chop it, chiffonade it down. Yes. Just gonna make sure we are cutting all those big veins in the middle, right? And I'm just gonna dress this with a little bit of EVOO. And a little bit of salt and pepper. All right. Because we can't just put it on there dry like that. It's not gonna be good. Okay, so we're just gonna dress it a little bit. All right, we're gonna let that sit to the side. So now we're gonna move on to the heat. Move this so you guys can see me. We're gonna get this cauliflower cooked up. Start our pan on high heat, 5 to 6. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the pan, ma'am. All right. Get it nice and coated. So even though this is not a protein, we want to cook it like a protein. We want it to taste like a protein. So we're going to treat it like that. And we're going to cook it on high heat until we hear that sear sound so we can get some caramelization and color on our meat, AKA cauliflower. Okay. So, when you're heating your pan up, you want to make sure that your oil is hot. It's dancing around the pan. It's getting like that nice mirror look in it. Because if you put it in there on low, your vegetables or your protein would just absorb all of that oil. And we want the oil to just act as a cooking agent and not as a braising agent, okay? You never want your food to just sit in the oil like that. Now, don't mind me. I'm looking for something. By golly, I found it. So I think our heat is about ready. We are going to use the same spoon that we marinated our meat with. And we're going to drop it into the skillet. Fiddle, fiddle. All right. All right. So now our cauliflower meat is cooking. I'm going to let it cook in there. I'm going to leave it alone for a little bit. I'm going to let it meet the pot. They become friends. And I need them to do things. Okay. Give them some of this stuff. Now we can start working on our shells while our cauliflower is cooking. I'm gonna make about 3. Now you, like I said, you can substitute and do flour shells. You can make this a soft shell situation. I like the hard shell situation. Lituation. Let's turn this on over here. So my mom came over. Well, she actually stayed the whole week last week. And she moved a lot of my seed, people. And so that's why I was like a stranger, Mom. This is good. My mom never sits down. She just likes to organize and clean. It's her thing. It's her thing, so I let her do her thing. But when I can't find things, it makes it very difficult for me. Especially my husband, he's like, man, your mom won't stop cleaning. Tell your mom to sit down. Crazy. So we're gonna use a little bit of vegetable oil for our frying of our shells. Get a nice amount in there just so I can have it floating, but not like deep frying it, okay? Let's go ahead and move our meat around, our cauliflower around in the pan. Make sure it's not getting stuck, but it's nice. It's getting brown and luscious. Now, I know you guys are thinking like, this is a taco, where's the cheese? It's vegan, but you know, I'm always open to variations. If you would like to add some cheese to this, go right ahead. It's your taco, your preference. But yes, it doesn't necessarily call for cheese, but I think a good cheese for this will be cotija cheese. I want you guys to see the look that we're going for with this. Not quite ready, but almost there. So my oil is almost ready for my taco shell. I sound like I'm singing a song with everything I'm saying today. I'm in a good mood. Good mood, good food. Or is it good? Is it mood come before food? Good mood, good food, or good food, good mood? All right, guys. It smells nice. Okay. Back it. So I'll give my cauliflower 2 more minutes. Now we're gonna get these shells fried up. So I can show you how to dress this thing. We call the cauliflower taco. We should call it the cauliflower taco. I love it. Genius. The cauliflower taco. Let's go. Make this nice and fried. All right. Put in. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. Oh, it looks amazing. Okay. Fry these shells up. So guys, what this cauliflower taco life be about? Nice little plate. And drain this fat off my tacos. So I want this like a tostada situation. It's lit. Look at this meat, guys. Looks amazing. You can't tell me it doesn't look like ground turkey. Who's gonna know? I said, who's gonna know? And if your kids like the Lari packets, instead of the Chipotle, just season it with the Laris. They'll never know, I promise. Well, they may. But you can tell them, I want you to live long and prosper. They might be like, what does that have to do with my ground meat, mama? All right. These are just about ready. Now, anytime you take anything out, fire, just salt it. Just a little bit. You're diabetic, you accent it. Do not put salt. All right. Drain a little bit of this fat on this here paper towel. Yes. Turn off my oil. All right. A little bit. It's like a tortilla chip. Okay. Now, let's dress these shells. I like I said, to treat this like a tostada situation because we have these beautiful beans and they don't need to be on the side. They need to be together as one. So I'm gonna get my beans and I'm going to put it on top and smash it down as if they were refried. Repeat it with this one. Yum, diggity dum dum. I'm gonna get my cauliflower, my chipotle cauliflower. Put it right on top. Yes. Yummy. Oh, it's nice and hot. And we're gonna cool it off with this slaw. Our beautiful slaw that kills, good for you. Vitamin A and D. Keep your skin nice. And body flowing and the going. And top it off with this fresh pico. You know. Yes, Lord. I can eat pico all day, every day. Every day. So good. All right. All right, guys. And these are our vegan tacos. Aren't they pretty? They're so nice. Let me give you an aerial view.
Looks delicious.
Thanks, Shallon. You feel? So our pickup schedule is for tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow then with vegan tacos.
All righty.